Hello and welcome to the Sacred Priestess podcast, where I help beautiful awakening women activate their sacred feminine power so that they can find clarity, connection, and confidence in their spiritual healing journey. I'm Hayley, and I just want to thank you so much for being here. If you are joining me for the first time, welcome. It is so great to have you. If you are returning again, thank you so much for your continued support and your beautiful presence and energy. Today, I'm just going to be sharing a collective reading that I recently did inside my private Facebook group using the Rose of Venus spread and my own creation, my beautiful Sacred Priestess Oracle cards. Now, this reading was looking into what is shifting for us right now as a sacred feminine collective. For those of us who are stepping out onto this priestess path, into this work to bring balance of the divine feminine back to the earth. So it goes through what we are being guided to release, what we are activating, what we're reclaiming, and the energy that's sort of around for April, May, as we start as we continue walking forward on our path collectively. So if you've been feeling a bit of a pull that, something's changing, something's shifting, you've been questioning, you've been sensing different emotions or things that are coming up, and you just kind of need a little bit of validation or a little bit of guidance on why that's coming up and what you can do to move through that, then this episode is for you. And before we get into it, I would just love to invite you, if you would like to go deeper into this work, I have this Thursday a free sacred masterclass, a free sacred circle with Mary Magdalene, where we will be learning a little bit about her as a mentor and a healer. We'll be touching on the mystery school teachings and the path of the rose, and we'll be doing a beautiful connection with her to ignite our Magdalene flame, really unlocking that sacred womb wisdom. So I'm going to put the link to that below. I would love for you to come and join us in the circle. Also, if you enjoy this podcast, please follow. Let me know in the comments how this reading resonated for you. I'd love to hear if you got any validation. Even if you have any questions, please let me know, because I would love to chat with you further about it. So I hope you enjoy this episode and enjoy this reading, and I will see you again next time. Hello, good morning, happy Friday. It is Priestess Teaching Day, but something different is happening this morning. I've been guided to do a card reading, sort of like a collective reading for everyone here in the Facebook group, sort of around how the sacred feminine is rising. And this is the Rose of Venus spread. That's the spread that I'm using to bring things forward. So if you would like, you can grab a journal and a pen, or like a piece of paper and a pen, just so that as the cards come out in these different spaces for these different reasons, you can sort of have a look at where you can see or where you can acknowledge where this is kind of coming up in your own life, kind of thing. So that's what we're doing today. The goddesses have come forward. Of course, I'm using my Sacred Priestess Oracle spread, so that we are working with the goddesses. So let's see what's happening for everyone at the moment, and let's have a little bit of fun. So the first card that comes up in this spread is sort of the current energy around everything, which is Mary Magdalene and the Magdalene flame. So at the moment, we are all really stepping into this space where we are igniting the sacred feminine, where we are all purposefully and actively, intentionally coming into that alignment. So really igniting that womb wisdom, igniting the heart, coming into alignment with the third eye, and really starting to open up that intuition. It really is. It is. This is the current energy. The feminine is rising, and, it's brilliant that you're all in on it, and that you're all, really embracing this movement, that you're embracing and honoring your own journey and what is coming up for you, and that you are starting to step into that sacred feminine power. And I was walking around the forest this morning, and I was just like, I think we've all reached a point where enough is enough, right? Even this morning, I was thinking about, like Elbow and Trump and all these, male world leaders. And again, not to poo poo men, but like it's just starting to become, as much as they're causing like tragedy everywhere, it's also like the way that they're behaving is now almost laughable. You know what I mean? It's like a bless, like who needs a hug, right? And I think that's kind of where we're just kind of stepping into this real power and yeah. Anywho, but it's brilliant that we're all getting aligned. This is the current energy. And I know that a lot of you, like I do get emails from you guys and from people on my email list. And, we chat in the Sacred Priestess Initiation and on the Facebooks and the interwebs. And like I know a lot of you are feeling this starting to come in. So yay, everyone. So the next card is sort of what is rising within you. So that's like, let's look at that as the current energy of what's going on. And so what is rising within all of us individually? Oh, cosmic wisdom. We are all really starting to, you see that very well with the light shining on it. But so this is cosmic wisdom with Maya. So she's one of the seven sisters of the Pleiades, the eldest of the seven sisters of the Pleiades. And so, what is rising within you is that ancient connection. It's that remembrance of Mu, Lemurian, Atlantean timelines that are bringing forward this understanding that we are supposed to be a sacred, feminine, divine, feminine society, right? That's what we're going back to. We're going back to this deep connection to the earth, to the stars, to the proper calendar, to, those frequencies of love and unity and all of those things. So, if you are feeling that within you, that you are starting to question more cosmically, for those of you who are a bit newer and don't know what I'm talking about, Mu, Lemuria, and Atlantis are, ancient civilizations where we were seeded, where there was a lot of galactic influence, where galactics came and seeded more humanity. And so this is a reactivation that's happening so that the timelines and the grids on the earth that have been distorted can come back into that, so that we can go get back onto these timelines of where humanity is supposed to be heading. So you might be at a point where you're actually starting to, if you've never kind of done the whole galactic thing before and it's not something you've thought about, if you're a bit newer to this, then maybe that's something that's going to start rising within you, or you're starting to question about galactics and maybe your starseed origins and starting to think about that more, look into that more and question that more. But this cosmic connection, this cosmic wisdom and the remembrance of how life used to be and how it used to feel, and starting to really integrate that is what's coming forward. All right. So next is what shadows are being brought to light, everyone's favorite topic. Integrity. And this is something that you're going to notice this year, and especially notice as that divine feminine starts rising within you, and as you start setting up boundaries, and as you start noticing different things, is where are you not standing in integrity? So these are the things that are coming forward on, what's just not working with you, and where are you ignoring it? Because you're not going to be able to ignore it anymore. And so you're going to have to sort of address it and look at it. This is happening with me right now in a huge way, and it's really uncomfortable and it's really hard and it's really sort of frustrating, yet really liberating at the same time, to sort of be standing in that integrity and standing in that power and actually voicing and sort of saying, well, nah, like enough is enough. And so, all of these, the things that are going to be coming to light, the shadows that are going to be coming up, are the places where you're not standing in integrity. So that could be in relationships, it could be stuff within self, it could be things at work, even little things like, I think, and I use this example because this was something that kind of happens with me, like, where are you going? Okay, I know that I'm supposed to be looking after myself. I know the foods that I'm supposed to be eating that make me feel good, as opposed to those ones that really deplete my energy and put me in a dodgy mood. so where am I not doing that? Where am I choosing to do the things that I know are not right for me rather than the things that are? So they're the things that are going to be coming to light. So that's up to you to just stand in your power, stand in your voice, set your boundaries, do the things that you know are going to set you on like a really high energetic trajectory rather than like make you, like I said, like as the example with the food, we know the foods that make us feel good when we've eaten them, and we know what keeps us, high energy, and we know the things that when we eat or overeat, we go, ugh, and it puts us like that. We don't want to be in that state. That's not a high timeline state. So yeah, that's what's coming forward for that. Sorry, I love doing this. I get really excited. So please do excuse me if I'm waffling on a little bit. You get what I'm saying. So number 4 is what is actually being let go of right now. Pleasure. So we are beginning to let go of all of those things that are not bringing us joy, connecting us into our body, connecting us into our passions in all the different ways. So whether it be sexual pleasure or the pleasure of an enjoyment of, I don't know, going on a roller coaster or I don't know, like going for a swim in the ocean, whatever it is, everything that is in the way of us experiencing pleasure is being let go of. And that's a lot around the sacral chakra, right? Because this is, like I said, it's our joy, it's our passion, it's our pleasure, it's experiencing emotion, experiencing a thrill, experiencing excitement, experiencing adventure. So everything that is in the way of that is starting to be released. And with this, though, especially around like there's a lot of and especially like around like Epstein file stuff and the suppression of women and the way that women are treated in that way. And I mean, I could get into I'm not going to get into all of that, but all of that stuff that's happening is really doing this collective healing of sacral wounding when it comes to shame around pleasure, when it comes to past life stuff, when it comes to unfortunate things that have happened to so many women in this lifetime, so that we can get back to not shaming our vajayjay area and not shaming our pleasure, and stepping into that and owning it and using it as back in the day when we're talking about going back to cosmic wisdom, we're talking about even going back to Isis and on those kind of and mystery school teachings. It was a pleasure. It was something that was considered a way of healing, a way of release, a way of bringing forward really great manifestation energy. So that's something that's healing for us all on a collective level at the moment, as well as individually. And my love to those of you who, have had deep trauma in this area, and sorry to bring this up for people. Our love is with you. Our beautiful vibes are with you for you to go through this and heal through this, and so that we can clear all of that out of the way. Number 5, what are you reclaiming? Sisterhood. We are reclaiming collective divine feminine truth. We are reclaiming the fact that this earth was set up to be matriarchal, to be run through the divine feminine and the sacred feminine. This is what we are all reclaiming together right now. Collective healing amongst women, collective rising amongst women. Beautiful. That just makes my heart tingle and makes me smile. That is what we are reclaiming, you guys. We're reclaiming the matriarchy. We're reclaiming, that feminine power. We're reclaiming the earth, basically, reclaiming humanity. And I know that sounds, again, I don't want it to be like, oh, women are taking over. It's not that. It's just that remembrance of the divine feminine, the remembrance of the sacred feminine, us stepping into that's really going to bring this world into what it is supposed to be. It's that golden age. and we're reclaiming all of that, stepping back into feminine power. Like I said, the proper calendar, the 13 moon calendar, we've been completely disconnected from, the awesome rhythms that we are supposed to be connected into with the earth and the stars and all of those things. Amazing. That makes me so happy. So lastly, number 6, what are you ready to bring into the world? Balance. Yes, we are. We are ready to bring the balance of divine masculine and divine feminine back to this world. And that is what we are doing through all of these. I mean, these cards couldn't be more amazingly spot on. I'm sure they're hitting home for a lot of people. But yeah, this is a Goddess Isis card, by the way. Bringing everything into balance. But we need to be bringing that into balance within us, right? This is why that sacred feminine is rising within us, so that we're getting that balance back within us in our daily lives. And I think this is a thing that a lot of people miss, right? It starts within individually. And once we're all changing that within us individually, then it affects the collective. And so the more that we're coming into balance in our own sacred feminine, the more that we're coming into balance with our divine masculine, divine feminine, and, we are feeling more aligned and stable on the inside, that's what's going to happen on the outside. At the moment, it's so chaotic because everyone's healing on the inside. Everyone's got all these things coming up, and the 3D things that are going on in the world, because there's battles happening on every level, right? And it starts with the holy wars in the dimensional frequencies is where the war's happening. But then the last thing we see, and the biggest thing that we see, is how that's actually playing out in the third dimension, right? In our reality in front of us. And so, the more that we're bringing balance back into all of that, then we're going to start seeing, and with us. And this is why wiping out duality is so important. And I've talked about this a lot in the last week, this duality with right wing, left wing, and this thing and that thing, and us against them and them against us. Is such a huge problem. And why they use it so much is because it throws off balance. Right? It throws off neutrality, it throws off alignment and all of those things. And yeah, anywho, what an amazing reading. Shall I just pull one more? I'm just going to, just because. Shall we pull one forward to see, in a few years from now, because we've got a few years to go, right, of this chaos that's happening now. So if we all do these right things, in a few years' time, what can we expect? If we continue this healing, we continue on this beautiful path of balancing the sacred feminine, what can we expect in a few years' time as this all starts to phase out? Ooh, perspective, which is really interesting. So as all of this, like I said, the next few years are going to be pretty full on still, as we're bringing all of this up and all of this is healing and balancing. But in a few years' time, we're going to have a whole new perspective on the world. And I think this comes from a lot of, people realizing that this isn't just about the 3D, that more people are going to be realizing that this is a galactic war, a holy war. And so it's going to give us, a lot more perspective on how to move forward as an actual humanity, and, what we can be doing and how we can be changing our systems, and how we can, all the things that are wrong within our systems, and, and how to do that. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, you guys, I'll stop now. But I hope that, please let me know in the comments, how that resonates with you. If you can see where that's kind of playing out in your own life, and you can see what's sort of coming up for you around this, always feel free to DM me on that. And of course, you can shoot me an email, and I will see you guys again soon. Lots of love. Bye.